What's going on, people? Myke C-Town here. So, in the video that I did a few days ago, I mentioned that I was going to be dropping another video on Friday. And today is Friday, and this is that video. What is this video? So, this was a show that I had tried to do like a year or so ago, but I just couldn't keep up with it. But I think I'm bringing it back because I get a lot of comments that people, you know, want to keep getting put on to the hip-hop albums that I happen to be listening to. And the thing is, I just don't have a lot of time to do a bunch of album reviews, so I thought this might be an easier way for me to get the word out about some rap albums that I'm jamming on. So I figure what I'll do is on the last day of every month, I'll do a video like this, which will be some mini reviews of the rap albums that I've been listening to the previous month. Today I'm going to be cheating a little bit, but we'll discuss that in a minute. But yeah, each video will consist of, I don't know, maybe 2 to 5 albums. I haven't really outlined that part really clear yet, but they'll just be quick summaries of the albums. They'll kind of give you an idea of what the albums sound like, and then I'll highlight a few songs that I'm really digging on. Like I said, just very condensed versions of the album reviews that I was already giving you on my channel. And yeah, that's it. And this keeps me from having to cover albums that I don't fully enjoy and trying to find diplomatic ways of saying that this shit is trash. Now I can just talk about the things that I like, and that's what I want to do. Now, I'll still do full album reviews for projects here and there, depending on the albums. I just think it'll be a little bit sparse because, you know, the thing about this channel is I like talking about the things that are not rap because I spent so much time on Dead End doing that, but I still do like talking about rap albums. I'm trying to find a balance. Plus, honestly, rap fans are just so argumentative these days. You know, I'm just an old man. I'm just an old man with a few years left on this earth, and you know, I refuse to let y'all shorten those years or stress me out for these last remaining years. So yeah, this is what we're gonna do, and let's see how this goes, and let's see if I can stick with it. So the first album that I'm gonna highlight is an album that I should have actually done a full album review on, and that is the newest album from Chesky, and it's titled Bring Us the Head of Francisco Falls Part 1. And yeah, the reason I said I was cheating is because this actually came out at the beginning of April, and I had every intention of covering it, but it hit around the time I was leaving Dead End, and then I just had a whole bunch of personal shit happening, and I just never got around to it. It just got further and further and further pushed back on the back burner. But yeah, this is the first Chesky album, I think, since Broken Bone Ballads, that I didn't actually do a full review on, and it just started to feel really weird. So yeah, if you're familiar with my channel, then you're at least semi-familiar with Chesky. He's easily one of my favorite modern rappers and songwriters, and this is part 1 of his last 2 albums. This is all from what I understand, at least. His last 2 albums that'll be released under the name Chesky. But yeah, the album starts with a beautiful spoken word that rolls right into the song Finn, which has this really interesting beat from Child Actor. It's mostly this kind of looped piano riff, and it's just gorgeous. And you know, I was patiently waiting for some drums to come in, and it doesn't happen. And that could sound like a complaint, but it's not. It's actually me being amazed, because the way Chesky spits over this is incredible. Like, how do you flow so well over this type of beat? I will just never understand, but the lyrics are amazing. Open an umbrella to protect from the tear gas. Tears still roll down fast. Every time we see another innocent killed, people cry over broken glass. Open an umbrella to protect from the tear gas. Tears still roll down fast. Every time we see another innocent killed, people cry and forget fast. Pretty poignant critique on the way a lot of us look at the atrocities that are happening right now. You have these momentary moments of caring, and then something else happens and we're moving on to the next thing. You know, I love the part about how people cry over broken glass. I took this as a commentary on people caring more about property over people, something I've talked about quite a bit, and the forget fast part is pretty obvious. And I also love this line, Dancing in celebration can be the physical manifestation of a scream. Burning down a police station may be the physical manifestation of a scream. I feel like this is the perfect way to end an extremely urgent song. It's so good. Beginning of a New Era, I believe, was the lead single off the album, and when I tell you that when I first heard it, it had me so hyped to hear this whole album, man. The beat by Factor Chandelier is so well composed. The way it progresses is extremely well done. It gives you this serious feeling of angst. And you know, I'm used to Chesky sounding agitated, but this feels entirely different. I don't know how he's able to do this, like continuously come out with new sounds that always sound authentically him. The part that gives me goosebumps every time I hear it is surprisingly the most simplistic part of the song, and that's when he yells, "What I gotta do to make a motherfucker listen? Say bitch, call him a bitch." And I like this statement on how hard it can be to get people to just listen to what you're saying unless you insult them. Then their ears are wide open. And I love the way Victor Jara opens up with what I would describe, this coming from a fairly ignorant gringo, I would describe it as this beautiful kind of Latin beat. I could have taken them doing this the entire song and I would have been perfectly happy. And even though I have no idea what he's saying, I loved hearing Chesky rap in Spanish, but I love these lines. The day you realize that you need nothing is the day you gain everything back. The day you realize you mean nothing is everything. The day you realize how insignificant you are in the grand scheme of things takes so much pressure off of you. Or at least that's the way I took it. You know, I love this idea of realizing that you don't need any of the material things that are on this earth. It makes you feel whole, you know, again, or at least that's how I take it. And I love the Rap Forever feature, man. Rory can seriously fit in perfectly on just about anything, but he sounds so perfectly at home on this beat. Just smooth, buttery flows the entire way through. The beauty of this album is a lot of it sounds like someone being very vulnerable and outlining themselves, working through some real life emotions and feelings. You know, take a song like Foie Gras, you know, sure it has the line, "When did fucks reach an all-time low?" As in giving no fucks, but I can't say that it's very clear that he's talking about himself here giving no fucks. It sounds more like he's talking about someone else giving no fucks about him. I'm not all the way sure, but lines like this one make me think that it's not about him. Tortured by my endless empathy, feeling for another selfish being, time and time again, passive-aggressive, silent games of word with friends will end. So many double entendres there, and I love it. And I love how he seems to be working through this idea of not speaking to someone but still refusing to change their profile pic in his phone. And this is something that I can deeply relate to. And I love how it ends with Lazarus 2. It's a more uplifting sounding song where he sings about wishing he could give someone their life back, and it seems to tackle grief from a place of being grateful, but also almost guilty. It's beautiful. And the poem at the end really brings it home. I'm not sure who the person is, unfortunately, but she says, "Grief is a transformative process that many of us have to go through to transcend and develop to be the people we need to be to survive in life." And I think that that's gorgeous. It's a perfect ending to this album. This album is incredible. I cannot wait for part 2, but I've been absolutely wearing part 1 out. So yeah, make sure you check that out. If you already have, drop some comments down there. Let me know what you thought of it. If you've not listened to it, the link is in the description section. And let's move on to the next album that I want to talk about, and that's Cavalier, Different Type Time. Cavalier is a rapper from New Orleans who I got put onto when he opened for Arm & Hammer in Atlanta some years back. And this is his debut on Backwoods, and it has not left my rotation since it dropped. So yeah, so let's run through a few songs that I'm really digging on. Custard Spoon, produced by Quelle Chris, is just super dope. I love that buttery beat so much. The bass with that beautiful vocal sample. It is a perfect album opener. Loud and corny, the new clout. Sometimes I miss Reggie when no cap was no doubt. The line made me laugh because I'm definitely, no doubt, years old. But yeah, measuring time and age by outdated slang is just really funny to me. Leave It Alone is also beautiful. I love the smooth instrumental that he chooses to rap over here, and you know, the way he flows on the first part of this song is incredible. Didn't communicate, doomed in a way, bumping Victor Dumoulin while ruin accumulates. Few could relate. Those are some really like heartfelt and heavy lines that he's delivering. But of course, I love the Doom reference, combining his name into Victor, which is, you know, Victor Vaughn, one of the many alter egos that he had, and Dumoulin, his actual last name. I thought that was a really cool touch. I don't think I've ever heard anyone refer to him that way, so that was dope. Deja Vu, the way the loop comes in is just beautiful, especially the really subtle horns. It's so relaxing, and the way Cavalier flows over this is amazing. He finds such a dope pocket on this song, and I love how this one kind of fades out before it transitions into this hard to describe but very sparse, I guess you can call it a beat, and he just goes off over it. Like the way he's spitting at the end of the song is mind-blowing. And the way he says, "My entire fam is very advanced," it almost reminds me of something that Big Just would do, so I love it. Yeah Boy is super ill. I love this really atmospheric beat that just has this beautiful instrumentation. And I love the line where he says, a nigga got a fully grown callus on his mood. That's such a clever line when you consider what a callus is, right? Something that forms over a body part due to repeated trauma or friction, and it serves to protect that body part from further trauma or friction, man. The idea of getting a callus on your mood is wild. And speaking of clever lines, let's talk about pairs. First off, that jazzy beat is super dope, and it instantly made me think about how dope it would be to hear Cavalier and Blue on a track together. But that's a random thought, but hopefully somebody makes that happen. But I died when this fool said, "I spit this verse while I'm eating her out, so word is born as soon as she skied on the couch." Come on, bro. If you're a prude, yes, that might sound gross, but I think that is such a dope line. Like, it, for me at least, it gets in your head and you really think about it. Not in a nasty way, but in this kind of like esoteric kind of way, or I don't know. It's hard to explain, and I won't explain in detail what this means. I feel like YouTube would absolutely suppress my video, so go ask your mother to explain that line. But Bad Vice is one of my favorite songs on this project. I'm not sure why, but it gives me an Almost Tribe vibe in a good way, obviously. I love the upbeat feeling this song gives with the nice bass lines and that really cool piano riff, and this second verse is incredible. So tell them why you mad. If you burned every bridge you had, no one will swim to you. Whether you deserve to live won't matter. That's just residual. All depends in the end still, sadly. Guess that's a hidden rule. They'll still hold it against you gladly. Jesus Christ, man. The way this dude writes is so amazing. He has such a special way with words. The most brilliant thing about this album is it's not just something that you throw on to clean the house, you know, and not that there's anything wrong with albums like that. But this is one of those albums that you put on and you get immersed in. You know, you sit back and you let Cavalier take you on this almost journey, right? As corny as that sounds, he's not just rapping to rap. Like, it's almost like he's bringing you into this weird, hazy world that he is a pro at surviving in, right? And he's your guide, and you can't help but just hyper focus on everything that he says, because he says some of the realest shit on this project, but it's also this super detailed rapping that he does. Like, he's a master at rhyme schemes in a way that Doom was, but in a slightly different way. And I think people are gonna really start to discover the brilliance of this album and the way he writes and raps, and start bugging the fuck out over discovering him so late, because I know I did, you know. But every time I put this album on, I walk away with something new. Even if it's just the subtle inflections that he's doing on a certain hit of a snare. It's stuff like that that really make this album something different. It's just one of those albums that you can listen to over and over and over again, and it feels so familiar every time in the absolute best way, but you're still picking apart new and interesting things on every listen. So yeah, make sure you definitely check this one out. The link will be down there in the description section if you've not already heard it. If you have heard it, make sure you drop some comments in the comments section. But that's all that I'm gonna do for this first episode. But yeah, like I said, this will drop the last day of every month. That's the plan for now, at least. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy it. I definitely want to keep throwing out projects to you guys, and I want y'all to keep throwing projects back at me. Let me know what y'all are listening to that I might need to check out, and let me know what you're anticipating for next month, and let's see if that ends up on the wrap up at the end of the month. Oh, by the way, yes, this series is called The Wrap Up, and I know it's an incredibly stupid name, which is exactly why I'm keeping it. So there you go. But yeah, thank you for living, thank you for loving, thank you for being you, and I'll see y'all next time. All right? Peace out, boy.